It's fair to wonder if we're watching a totally new and improved version of Brock Purdy. What's up? Welcome to the coaches meeting. It's been a while. That's the coach. I'm Grant Cohn. Title of the show is How 49ers Brock Purdy has become elite. To me, he's playing, not to me. He's obviously playing the best ball of his career last couple of weeks. Question is why? Is it him? Is it Kyle? Is it his supporting cast? Is it the schedule? We'll dive into all of that. But first, last night, the Rams. The Rams embarrassed themselves on national television. It was quite funny. Just a month ago, if I were to ask you, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I feel like most people would probably begrudgingly say the Rams. But they peaked about a month ago. They are sliding big time. What did you think of Matthew Stafford throwing 3 picks against the Falcons?
I mean, I think they're pressing. Offensively, I don't believe that their running game is as strong as advertised. I'm not a big Blake Corum guy, and I don't know exactly how they're not dedicated to the run game as much as they were earlier on into the season. They've got a lot of injuries coming up. They were missing 2 starters on offense on their offensive line. That helps. Alaric was not in. Their left tackle and their right guard wasn't in. So right now. I also believe that, truthfully, outside of Puka Nacua, Devonte Adams not being his regular self changed so much of how this offense operates. And it takes a little bit of the confusion, a little bit of the disguise, and, to be honest with you, the deep ball threats of, hey, Puka needs to be left off of. All right, now that's the offense. The real culprit of this Rams team is this overrated ass defense. They are overrated, man. They get a lot of noise and fanfare for the guys that they have. Jared Verse being kind of like an apex predator. They're number one guy, if you will, but they can't stop the run. And I understand that they saw Bijan Robinson, which is one of the best running backs in the league, but we ran on their ass. Like, they cannot stop the run. Their linebackers are average, and they've got a real safety issue. So, really, the biggest thing with the Rams, obviously, is the injuries on offense. But the biggest thing for me is their defense is overrated. They really can't stop people the way they do. Even in our second game that we played them and we lost. But they had an offensive explosion against us. We still put up over 20. We still put up over 20 points on them. We still had a good day. So,
to me, though, like, their defense is overrated, but it's still better than the Niners defense in the sense that they have a pass rush and the Niners don't. Like, I think what we're seeing with the Rams, like why Stafford in particular is like kind of crumbling, is what you said earlier. Like, I think Devonte Adams has been one of the more important additions in the league this year. Because without him, like, Stafford's a great thrower who can make pinpoint passes down the field. Like, that, Puka doesn't really help with that. I mean, he can catch the ball, but he's not really beating man coverage like that. Like, he's the kind of guy that you throw it to him as he's running through a zone and hit yards after the catch and break tackles and stuff. But with a guy who can really dot wide receivers up down the field in the back corner of the end zone, it's great to have a guy like Devonte Adams who can beat man-to-man coverage and make contested catches. I think you saw what he did to that offense, having him and Puka and that running game and those tight ends. It was like kind of hard to stop. Now they're a lot like the Seahawks, where they got one wide receiver you got to worry about, some tight ends who aren't that great.
Pretty much it.
And that's pretty much it. Like, look at the Niners. The Niners are so tough because at their best, you got to worry about McCaffrey and Kittle and Jennings and Pearsall, and it's just so hard to focus on anyone where you can absolutely focus on Puka Nacua.
Definitely. And if you really look at why they're 13 personnel, they were kind of like the first guys to cross the bow and get that going, that wrinkle in offense. Why 13 works so much is because of your X, because you have a Devonte Adams out there that you just cannot lock up one-on-one. Another big thing for Devonte Adams that they're missing is red zone. He was huge in the red zone for them.
Exactly.
And he was just not even so much as being a target, but just being a gravitational force of you have to find this guy. We have to account for him. They don't have that anymore. And I think that Devonte Adams, what we talked about earlier on, he helped with that run game. Now you're kind of I mean, let's be honest. Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, I like what they do as a tandem, but individually, they're not starting running backs, in my opinion, right? Just by themselves. And I believe that Devonte Adams and having everybody involved in that offense elevated that offensive line, that elevated the run game. And now, just, shit rolls downhill, if so to speak. If we don't have Devonte, guess what else we can do now that we only have to worry about Puka? We get to pin our ears back and go after Matt Stafford, where his age is showing up and having to maneuver through those pockets and keep himself clean without his full set of offensive linemen in front of him and one of his favorite pass catchers. So right now, the Rams, they're kind of going into the doldrums of the season that we went into earlier on, and it's all about who's hot right now, and they're not hot.
I just think they're a completely different team without Devonte Adams. Like last year, the last 2 years they were 10-7. They had Puka Nacua. They were good, but not great. And then they bring in Devonte Adams. You have both of those guys. All of a sudden, Matthew Stafford is an MVP candidate. They're scoring 40-something points a game. Now Devonte Adams goes down, and they look like shit. I think that it sucks when your offense is so heavily dependent on a wide receiver who's 33 years old and has a hamstring injury right now. If he comes back and plays like he did 2 months ago, the Rams could go on a run and get at peak at the right time. But right now, it seems like that's hard to expect. But,
yeah.
Still, can the Niners beat – before we move on from the Rams, what's the Niners matchup with the Rams? And last time the Niners faced the Rams whooped the shit out of the Niners. And it wasn't just Devonte Adams. Like, it was the run game. It was all the tight ends. Like, the Niners couldn't stop anything. And so it's fun to dunk on the Rams today. But does that necessarily mean the Niners would beat them if they face in the playoffs?
Well, the biggest thing – I would say no. The biggest thing that will be different when we play the Rams again is that we will be prepared for 13. One thing about 13 personnel is that they ran it the entire game, and we did not adjust. We didn't adjust at all. That's one of the things that we're going to have to be seeing coming in. The biggest thing that I like about the Rams and the Seahawks is if we get them to play honest, it's in our favor, right? These are two teams that come from our enclave. We know them frontwards and backwards, and we just have to figure out a way how to get to their biggest weaknesses. We got to get Matt Stafford off his spot. We got to get him out of the pocket. The biggest thing, I understand Devonte is, the chief reason why they're struggling, but really, if they don't get that offensive line situation together, Matt Stafford is vulnerable. And they're a completely different team when Matt Stafford just can't get back there and get the ball out when he wants to. So, look, you bracket Puka and you make Matt Stafford to throw to somebody else, and then you lean on that run game that that has more people in the box now, definitely because the pass game isn't as threatening. I just think that's how we beat the Rams. And we did it before earlier on in the year when they didn't respect us, but that needs to be said.
What's rough about this matchup from the Niners' perspective, again, the last time they faced each other, the Rams rushed for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. Devonte Adams had 77 yards and a touchdown. Puka had 64 yards and a touchdown, but Colby Parkinson, 41 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Higbee, 33 yards. Terrence Ferguson, 32 yards. Davis Allen, 8 yards and a touchdown. Like, they got whatever they wanted. There wasn't one player the Niners could shut down. It was bad. So I worry about this matchup for the Niners if they have to face him. I do. Because, look, here's what I want to say. Forget Puka and Devonte Adams for a second. Sean McVay's a good coach. He may not be as good as Kyle Shanahan. It's debatable, but he seems to know the Niners very well. And what he did in that last game was attack Luke Gifford relentlessly. He knew the Niners personnel. He knew where the weak spot was, and he wouldn't let the Niners off the hook. I feel like so many – even Ben Johnson, as good as he is, when did he get to attacking Luke Gifford? On the final drive of the game, like very late. McVay didn't let the Niners off the hook, and I feel like he's going to go at that again until Robert Saleh either makes a change or doesn't, and that's why I'm still a little concerned about the Niners in this matchup. McVay knows their personnel so well and exploited it so well a month ago.
Right. So matchup ball is definitely where we are at this point of the season now, right? There's too many injuries to go at a team whole hog and see that this is their best guys. These are our best guys. That's over. There's no starting lineup in the NFL right now playing. So yes, matchups do matter. One thing that I will say is that adjusting matters as well. The biggest thing that I've seen on defense with us adjusting to 13 personnel is actually taking Lou Gifford off the field, bringing down Jair Brown into the boxing, making him that dime linebacker, okay, and putting an extra DB on the field. That can help us. Now, does that mean that Jair Brown is just creme de la creme against tight ends and that's just set it and forget it? No, Jimmy Ward's gone. Okay, so we don't have that safety that could just erase tight ends. However, it is a new wrinkle. It's something that can be done, right? And it's not the end all to be all as far as what the fix is, but there's ways that we can get at Matt Stafford. One of the things that I like about playing against Matt Stafford that I saw on the defense now is that cross your fingers, but the defensive line constructed now, they can fight. If we can keep Yetur Gross-Matos on the field, I understand that he has injury issues, but he's a plus. He helps. That run game, that our defensive run game, being able to stop the run and making a game one-dimensional, that's something that we can get the Rams into. I just think that right now it's hard for you to look at any team and completely go off of the greatest things that they do as far as their weapons are concerned. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's injured. And I think I said this to you or Jesse, but the biggest thing that I love about our defense is that they are extremely well coached. There was 100% effort, okay? And they rally. They will get there. So that much we can do. Also, if you looked at the Bears game, right? With the Bears game, we were getting stops early. It was losing Upton Stout. That was a big part of why the Bears started finding a little bit more consistency in the passing game, which would allude to another 13 personnel situation where I think Upton Stout can be used in that area as well, along with Chase Lucas. So, they got a lot, but we'll be okay.
Johnny Hill says, you guys believe that 57 is better than Kendricks? I don't know, man. Kendricks was in the game for like a series a couple of weeks ago, and he got targeted in coverage immediately. He got beaten coverage immediately. I don't know that he's better than Luke Gifford. If he were better than Luke Gifford, he'd probably be playing. They got a problem, man. They don't have a strong side linebacker who can cover. They don't have safeties who can cover. Like, they have problems that the Rams have exploited that other teams could exploit as well. Fortunately, the Niners are freaking rolling on offense right now. We're going to explain why in a second. YMG Love Blue or YM Glove Blue, I can't really say for sure. It says, I don't know if it's PTSD from Jimmy G, but I always have this feeling of expecting Brock Purdy to soil the bed. Should I be worried? That's a great question. That's something between you and God. I can't tell you what to worry about, but I do want to talk about why Brock Purdy's playing so well. We're going to call this Brock 2.0. My dad yesterday said that he believes Brock has improved tremendously since the Super Bowl, since earlier in the season. I guess we'll find out this week because last time he faced the Seahawks, he was up and down, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, won the game, 17 points. Since then, they're using him differently. And this is what I like so much. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan has unlocked Brock's full potential. And I don't know that Brock's an elite quarterback, but he's playing like one the last 2 weeks, no question. And I think a big reason that he is, I don't know, you tell me what you think, but I think a big reason he's playing like an elite quarterback is because Kyle's using him like a dual threat. He's not just a pocket passer anymore. They're calling runs for Brock Purdy. And I think that if he can keep getting first downs, not just on scrambles, touchdowns on zone reads, that totally changes his skill set. It totally changes what he brings to the table, and it totally changes the offense. They're running the ball without Trent Williams and George Kittle. It's not 100% because of Brock, but adding another rushing threat in the backfield doesn't hurt. I think this has been a brilliant addition from Kyle Shanahan. You got to respect Brock Purdy for pulling it off. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I said so as much. My biggest thing is that they've got to find a way how to stress defenses. I think Brock running the ball isn't necessarily like a net of like he's a dual threat in a sense, but I believe that what helps Kyle is Kyle needs palate cleansers, right? If you're thinking about putting together and sequencing plays on offense. And sometimes you can get a little redundant, And it's hard to break out of those cycles when you don't have a Deebo Samuel or when you don't have a prime Christian McCaffrey or somebody that can just go make a play for you. In years past, I think that keeping Brock healthy was the main initiative while he was on the field, right? However, he's gotten his money. He's gotten hurt and got back into the game. We got to the point where Brock is already telling the office about his own prognosis. Like, I'm ready to get back when I need to be full go. When you start having those type of conversations, that means that we get to use you at 100% of your disposal. I love being forceful with Brock, not scrambling, all right, which Brock can do, but actually having RPOs built in for Brock in the red zone.
We've been asking Kyle to do this for years.
Yes, stressing defenses to keep them honest, not keying on Christian McCaffrey, not keying on George Kittle in the red zone, making Brock a conscientious runner to be able to stress what is the hardest position in the game to scout for, which is linebacker. That's why us having so many, we have been so blessed to finally get to the point where we're talking about bad linebackers here for the 49ers. But a lot of teams don't have them. All right. They don't have hellified guys at the linebacker spot. And Brock, especially with the type of runner that he is that he's got quick twitch. We already his 10-yard split has been the most 10-yard split talked about by a quarterback in the history of the game. Okay, so that's well documented. But I do believe that it's another wrinkle where you're going to have to start playing matchup football. And one thing that I like about it too, the disposition of your offense, let's keep it real. In football, people think that the dogs, the go-getters, is defense. The more intricate, team-oriented guys are on offense. Man, sometimes you got to have an offense with defensive mentality, where they go attack, they go get every blade of grass, they don't leave any stone left unturned. And you can't do that when you're so stuck in your process, shifting 35 times before the play is snapped all the time. You got to allow yourself to be able to be contemporaneous in the now, to take advantage of things. And I love these designed runs with Brock. I think that it gives Kyle another added palate cleanser to his sequencing of plays. That's one thing that Kyle is amazing at, is being able to see plays as they come, to be able to line them up the right way. But I will tell you, man, Brock being a runner, and especially how they're using him, they're not, no pun intended, I'm not trying to be funny, but they're not running him in between the tackles. Okay, they're actually getting him on the outside. You know, these are plays that he can stay healthy on. And I love it. It's a new wrinkle, and I think it's going to be hard for defenses to keep up with it.
You know, people always talk about Brock Purdy's like efficiency, his QBR, his yada, yada, yada. And he's always at the top of the league, but the guy who's like right there next to him or above him always is Jordan Love. Who, I mean, Niner fans don't really think anything of Jordan Love. And I think there's some similarities in the way that they're used. They're in the same system. Matt LaFleur coached under Kyle Shanahan. Like, they're play-action quarterbacks. They don't throw a lot. They throw 28 to 32 passes a game. They hand off a lot. The idea is to have a balanced attack. And I think the problem with Jordan Love and with the reason is they don't really trust these quarterbacks to not throw picks. I mean, if you're going to ask Jordan Love or Brock Purdy to throw 50 passes, drop back 50 times in a game, bad things can happen. So they want to be more balanced, which is great. I mean, balance is great if you can pull it off. The problem with Love is that he doesn't contribute to the run game at all. He just hands off. And if that's the kind of quarterback you are, like, they don't really want you to throw 45 passes, and we want to be balanced. So you just do nothing half the time, and you're getting paid $53 million a year. That's why when he goes down and Malik Willis comes in and is kind of playing the same system where he's not throwing a lot, but he's also enhancing the running game, running the ball, people are like, damn, like, maybe we want that. And brings us back to Brock. If he can be that kind of guy who can give you 4 or 5 runs a game, 4 or 5 first downs with his legs a game, then that totally justifies him not throwing 40 passes. He doesn't have to be Tom Brady or Drew Brees. He can be this, which is kind of an elite offensive weapon.
Yeah. All right. So let's elite is a lot. Okay. I'm just happy that we're using all of his tools. Okay. Everything is getting used, and we'll figure out what he's elite at when everything's at full tilt, right? It's almost like I'm blocking all your ports. Brock had a lot of ports blocked All right. His 404 port, his 8008 port was all blocked, and we had to get him open. Brock being input into the system as a runner on purpose creates opportunities for other guys to get off, right? Brock running, what did he run for yesterday? I mean, on Sunday night, 6 times. He ran 6 carries. He had 6 carries for 28 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? But that's not missed on me that while Brock is having touchdowns in the red zone, Juice gets off, right? Jake Tongis gets off. Jawan Jennings gets off. Kendrick Bourne gets off. Like, Ricky Pearsall got off. If you're looking at the receiving core of guys who caught the ball, we got 2, 4, 6, 8 different pass catchers in this game. And that's not usually what the Niners do. We really don't spread the ball around that much. Once a guy gets hot, that's pretty much our guide for the day. So I do believe that Brock being an added element lifts the floor, right? I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, well, now that we unlock this with Brock, we could just lead with Brock now. Like, I think that would be the wrong approach, right?
But this is why we wanted Trey Lance in the first place. This is why the Niners wanted Trey Lance in the first place. Like, they've been a run-first offense since Kyle's been here. They want to be balanced. They want an NFC championship game, throwing 8 passes. And the idea is, if you're going to have a quarterback making all that money, or you're going to have a quarterback in the system and you're not a pass-first team, shouldn't that quarterback contribute to the run game in some way? Shouldn't he? And that was the idea with Lance, and it didn't work out. But I think we've always felt that Brock has the capability to contribute to the run game in some way, and he has with scrambles. But it'd be nice to see Kyle actually facilitate it, and he is. And I think that's a big reason why he has scored 10 touchdowns in the last 2 games. We'll see if he can do it against Seattle. It's interesting, too, because week 1, he hurt his toe running against Seattle. Will Kyle Shanahan call those kind of plays? It was a scramble. Will he call those plays against Seattle, or will he try to protect him in the pocket with no Trent Williams? Is that even the most safest place on the field for Brock Purdy, or do you want to get him out? I don't know.
I was just about to bring that up, though, Grant. Like, I mean, all right. So listen, I want to give, I think the foundation of this conversation is that we're giving Kyle and the offense credit for having a new wrinkle, or basically adding a new weapon into the offense vis-a-vis Brock's running. But some of this is like, the best inventions are born out of necessity. You know, like, they have to do this. Are we forgetting the fact that maybe Brock doesn't run the ball 6 times on Sunday night if Trent Williams doesn't go down in the first play of the game, right? Or if George Kittle isn't playing Sunday night. So for me, I need to see consistency before I actually say this is what they do. Because quite frankly, we're facing teams where, in my opinion, we're in 1-game seasons now, right? Every game is a one-off to who you're going to face that night, who's going to be hot, who's going to show up and actually do their job. So I love the win. I love what they did offensively, but I think the common denominator of most of the wins that I've seen is that they're leaving no stone left unturned. They're doing literally everything humanly possible to win. And Sunday, if you would have said that this team is going to have to score over 40 points in a shootout with Chicago, we all would have said, no way in hell we're not going to score 40 points. It's not happening.
The thing about Brock, and he's a very good quarterback. He's playing out of his mind. But the reason he still has an interception percentage of 3.5. He still threw the pick 6 in this game. He still should have had a second interception that got called back because of a very, that was ticky-tack, hands to the face penalty.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why he's not, why I liked Mac Jones and why I was so bullish on him was he won 2 games this year throwing more than 40 passes. Brock's never done that. He's 4-4 when he throws more than 35 passes. Why? Because he throws hella picks, and you're trying to limit the defense's exposure to those floaters. I'm sorry. He's got touch. He layers passes, but when the defensive players get their hands on it, they're interceptions. So you want to limit the opportunities. Great. Well, how can he still impact the game given those restrictions? Running. And he had 2 rushing touchdowns in this last game. I love it, man. And I grew up watching Jeff Garcia and Steve Young. This is a 49ers tradition. There's no reason why he can't do this. You just got to protect him. But it seems like he's gotten injured in the pocket, the elbow injury. He's gotten injured scrambling. It seems like a lot of times when he runs his own read, the whole defense is following Christian McCaffrey. It's some of the safest stuff you can run with him. I love it, man. You got to keep doing it. It's some of the best. It might be the best short yardage play that Niners have in their playbook right now.
And it's pesky, right? It's just above it's just above board where you have to respect it, but it doesn't go so hard where you have to completely create a whole game plan to it. It's the perfect weapon that you want defenses to be worried about, to be scared about. It keeps you honest, right? Because it's like, oh, we don't respect this. It's like, hell, you better. All right, if we 10 yards out, he will score.
A touchdown.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking score. So exactly.
And
so
look, the first time they called it this year was in Cleveland, which was really a huge game for him because the week before he played like ass against Carolina and he wasn't running zone reads. He goes to Cleveland and the assignment was don't throw a pick today. Because if you do, you might get benched. Like, don't lose. Don't throw a pick. What he did was throw the ball away 7 times. That was the number. And he ran for a touchdown on a zone read and hit the Dougie. He's hitting the Dougie when he runs. I'm telling you, the Dougie and the zone read is the key to this system, man. I'm telling you.
One thing about it, too, is you got to also understand that the Mac Jones pass attempts early on, our run game was non-existent. We did not have one. You know what I mean? Nope. So, like, that factors in as well. That, you know, Mac was what we needed at that time. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that. He's what we needed, right? But that was fresher football than what we see now. And now it's near the end of the year. There's literally about maybe 20 games left in the season, all told. And to be honest with you, guys are ready to go home. We're going to start seeing teams that don't want to play, bro. We're in the right spot.
If the Niners make the NFC Championship game, they have to have Cali Swag District do the halftime show. I mean, 15 years ago, they had Future doing Tony Montana. This year, it needs to be the Cali Swag District doing Teach Me How to Dougie. It just has to happen. It would go dumb.
Yeah.
Teach Me How to Dougie at halftime. It would be so cool. I don't know what's up with Cali Swag District, but they got to get in on this.
There's not. All I'll say this is that there is. I don't care how cool your dance move is. You can only do it for 1 year before it gets played out. Cam Newton dabbed for an entire year, and it was like, Cam, if you dab one more time, bro, I'm over it, Cam. Yeah. So we'll see.
You got little white kids in North Carolina dabbing, man. No one wants to see this. Stop. Okay, look, before we move on to the next topic, I want to shout out my sponsor, Fabletics. Fabletics is great. They make great athleisure wear, and they're sponsoring my show, so I got a chance to check out some Fabletics. They're gonna send me something so I could tell people what I thought. And I needed a suit. So I'm like the only guy who probably got an athleisure wear suit. I don't know. I like it a lot. If you were going to get it, maybe you would get some shorts or a breathable shirt that you could wear when you're playing pickleball or rock climbing. But I want something that allows me to go to the game and be professional, but at the same time, just do sprints. I can go straight from Orange Theory to the game. Should I take a shower? Probably, but I don't have to when I'm wearing my Fabletics. And I like that a lot. You know what I mean?
So you mean to tell me that you're going to start being one of those media guys that wears a suit, like a jumpsuit, he could run in it, he could jump in it. You're going to start wearing your suit with Yeezys and dunks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next time Rich Eisen's running a 40, I'm going to dust him in my Fabletics suit unless he has
That's exactly what kind of came to my mind of Run Rich Run. When you started talking about running around in your suit. Well, you don't where is the suit? I barely see you wear it. I saw you wear the blazer
on game days. I wear it on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't just wear it any time. But I like it so much, I'm going to have to go get some other things. And the thing is, Coach, you can get some Fabletics right now because they have amazing deals. And they're running their biggest sale of the year right now. I got an exclusive offer just for you and everyone else who's watching. 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP. Just head over to fabletics.com/cone and sign up as a VIP to get 80% off everything. That's 80. It's only available through my link, so go to fabletics.com/COHN to sign up as a VIP and get 80% off. That's fabletics.com/cone. I want to see you guys wearing Fabletics.
Fabletics got big nigga sizes. Okay, Fabletics. I see you.
I'm trying to tell you.
Fabletics rocking with the big dogs. See you, Fabletics. Throwing in them other X's.
It's made to be comfortable, but yet dapper at the same time. Dapper comfortable. That's what they're known for.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay. What I love about the 2025 49ers, and here's what I hated about the 2024 49ers. It didn't feel like a team at any point. It felt like a collection of egos with their own agendas. And this year it feels like a team that is so much better than the sum of their parts. And every week there's some unknown, unsung hero who is a quote-unquote core member of the team this week. So why don't we do a segment in honor of the most known unknowns on the 49ers?
The most known
Shout out
unknowns,
3-6
man.
Mafia.
Shouts out to 3-6 Mafia. Look, man. My most known unknown off the rip, Jake Tongis, man. The most known unknown, bruh.
He's good.
Son, let me tell you something. 6'4", 240. All right. He's in his third season, so he's young. What he's been doing for the Niners so far, dog. 7 grabs, 9 targets over 60 yards, bro. He has been killing. Versus the NFC, he's got over 226 yards, and he's the backup of a Hall of Famer. We're not talking in jest. George Kittle's a Hall of Famer. So he's not going to get a lot of burn. But the ability for him to just be ready, okay? And this isn't somebody like, I could see if this was like a tight end from another team and he just needed a different change of environment and he was like a first-round pick and all of that other stuff. Like, no. Jake Tongis caught his first touchdown pass this season. Okay, like this is all happening in front of us. And he's growing with every opportunity. And the fact that he's not getting consistent opportunities, so it's kind of like, you know, just when you're needed and he's still producing, like he's an easy button. To be able to get that type of production out of him when George Kittle goes down, you got to love it, man. One of my most known unknowns,
It's his
man.
third game of the season with at least 6 catches. He
Son,
has
wilding.
5 touchdown catches this season. 5.
Yes.
Passer rating when targeted, 126. And here's the thing about this game, like they go to Jawan on the first play, which was so strange. Like you're testing Jalen Johnson, who's their best corner. You're going at Jawan Jennings, who isn't even open, and you predetermine the read. Okay, now you're down 7-0. What do? They instantly go to Tongis. 3rd and 7. The fourth play of the game, 3rd and 7. Purdy to Tongis for 18 yards. Later in that drive, 2nd and 10, Purdy to Tongis for 8 yards. Later in that drive, first and goal from the 1, Purdy to Tongis for a touchdown. Like, boom, 7-7. Gets him right back in the game. He's so
balling,
underrated. Bro. And the fact that Kyle hasn't figured out how to get him and Kittle on the field together yet is interesting. I bet he will.
Okay, so I have a theory on why that isn't happening. Okay. George Kittle and Jake Tongis they're of the same archetype, right? They're both move tight ends. George is awesome because he can be an attached traditional tight end, but in the guise of being pass catchers, they're move tight ends. If you put them both on the field, I feel like you have redundancy in skill set, and now you have an issue with depth, right? Because now, if Jake Tongis goes down, really the tandem is supposed to be Luke Farrell, which is your blocking tight end, which allows your receiving tight end to go out there and be a receiving tight end. If you lose Jake Tongis, you lose the other half of that tandem that I believe that Kyle really wants on the field, which is a blocking tight end and a receiver. If you put Jake Tongis and George on the field together and one of them gets hurt, now your second move tight end is Braden Willis.
I get that, but at the same time, like, we're at the end of the season. Like, you only got so many weeks left, and I understand it's a long season and you got to pace yourself and stuff, but it would suck to lose a game where your offense wasn't great and Tom just didn't play at all, because it seems like he's a touchdown waiting to happen, and you don't have to change your whole offense to start him and Kittle and play them both 80% of the snaps, but in the red zone from the 6, couple of snaps. I mean, the other team doesn't want you to do it.
They don't
do it. They don't want you. They don't want to see that shit. They're not prepared for it. You haven't even put it on film yet. Like, it's a layup. And the only question is when you want to go to it. Like right now, the zone read to Brock Purdy is a layup. That's an easy touchdown. Well, same with Tongis, man. When he caught that touchdown pass against the Bears, he was unguarded, completely wide open. Yeah, that's what.
You know what else is kind of a layup too? Like a easy first down. The rocket screen to Scott Moore.
Yes. That's another most known unknown.
That can kind of come back
in
in there.
You can even do that more.
Yeah. That's also something
Like
that I've been
Pearsall's
looking at.
good, but he doesn't give you any gadget stuff, and he hasn't scored a single touchdown this year. He shouldn't be necessarily playing 80% of the snaps. He should be sharing some time with everyone.
You know who else is another known unknown? Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus
Yeah.
Robinson is low key. He's like an intermediate route threat for them. I don't want to call him a deep threat, but as far as him getting into that 12 to 15 yard range, being able to stretch the seams, being a slot guy for them, a big slot for them, especially when Jawan needs a blow, and even moving Jawan out to the X when they move him over and bump him down to the Z. I think that Demarcus Robinson, and he's been healthy for most of the year. Demarcus Robinson is a most known unknown, man. I really like what he's doing.
It took him a minute after he
team.
got suspended to sort of like get his feet underneath him or whatever. He was dropping passes, but now he's got great chemistry with Purdy. They just don't throw to him that much because they have so many other guys they can go to. But that's a good call. I got another one. And I'd love to know your take on this because you're much more of an offensive line guy than me. Spencer Burford, left guard.
Yo,
Dude, this guy's career was on life support. They tried him at every
He's about
single
to get
position
fucking
but left
paid.
guard. I feel like he found his position. He's an asset to this team.
Spencer Burford may get paid. He may
Hell
get
yeah.
paid. He's
Yep.
gonna he's gonna be this. I think he's in his free agency year. He may get about $15 million a year. Honestly, one thing about
Is he better
Spencer,
than Banks?
he's more athletic than Banks, and it's not even close. Faster, quicker, more fleet of foot, sticks to his technique a little bit more than Banks. Banks is just a bigger frame, right? He just holds the weight a little bit better. If you remember, Banks came in out of shape, right? He was playing at like 340 when he was at Notre Dame, bumping into people. Then he had to come in the NFL and get his body. Spencer, the only thing with Spencer is that Spencer's had to actually put on more weight because he was a little too small at the tackle position coming out of UTSA. Now, one thing about it is that Spencer's played pretty much everything but center. All right, he's played both tackle spots and both guard spots. And one of the things that happens when you get a young guy with that much upside as far as athleticism is concerned is that you want to give him consistency. Playing offensive line is very hard for one position. Being talented enough to move up and down the offensive line, especially at a young position in your career, that takes a lot of stress, time, and effort. And we saw that last year with Spencer Burford being hurt. You have to change your body when you're moving from a different type of position. At left guard, Spencer Burford, I think the biggest issue with him was neck up. Him understanding angles, him understanding points of attack, him understanding how to get onto the backside of blocks with Trent Williams. Really, when you're playing with a guy like Trent Williams, as a guard, you're kind of in service to him, right? You're making sure that he's comfortable with the double team blocks. If we're comboing up, if you want to leave early, damn it, I'm not gonna tell you to stay. I gotta get there early. I gotta get there better. All of those things with playing next to Trent, understanding the gaps, understanding how to get on, understanding having the right angles on inside and outside zone. That's helped Spencer Burford tremendously, and he's healthy. He's not playing with any nagging injuries. He's not playing with a messed up knee. So for me, Spencer Burford, he's not. I don't want to sit here and say like he's not, Pro Bowl level. Send him to the Hall of Fame, but he's playing like a starting left guard. He's not a backup playing left guard. He's playing like a starting left guard, and it's good to see. And the athleticism is only going to go higher because he's basically playing tackle. He's got a tackle skill set at guard. So his feet are quicker than most of the 5 techniques he's going to see. He's going to have quicker hands than most of the 3 techniques he's going to see. When he gets up to the line of scrimmage and goes to the second level on linebackers are going to be a little bit surprised on how much he can get, how fast he can get up there quicker. So he's playing in a position where
so interesting that the Niners never even considered him for this position. They drafted him. He'd played this position. They're like, nah. He's a right guard. And they played him there for years, and it didn't work. And then this year, they're like, nah. He's a swing tackle. And they put Ben Barch at left guard, who can't stay healthy to save his life. And then when he inevitably got hurt, they put the 7th-round rookie pick Connor Colby there. And then, when he finally got hurt and they were out of options, they're like, maybe we should give him a look, even though we haven't prepared him at all to play left guard. And it's like, oh, he's good at it. You got to love that because sometimes it doesn't matter if you saw it coming. As long as you stumble upon the right answer eventually and you stick with it, that's all that really matters. At least you got there.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I was looking at Spencer Burford to play center at one point. I was like, man, try him at center if you want to put him everywhere else. But yeah, at left guard, he's going to get
The
paid.
plan was Ben Barch and Connor Colby, and it ended up being Spencer Burford is really good. Like, hilarious. They don't even take this position seriously, and they have a good offensive line. It's hilarious. They've been dominating the last few weeks.
You know what's crazy though is that the way they're going to play it is they're not going to play this the way you're saying it. They're going to play this as this is what we play. This is what we pay Coach Forrester for.
Right.
Way to get it done. Way to get it done. You know, so
it is though. It's like Chris Kasarik doesn't get this kind of results with his guys. I mean, Alfred Collins looking pretty good, CJ West, but like Chris Forrester makes quality starters out of guys that no one takes seriously. Austin Pleasance was prepared for that. What?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's good, but he was prepared.
Yeah, Austin Pleasance had I don't want to say a great game, but Austin Pleasance was not an issue.
He gave up that
He
one
was
sack.
not an issue. Yeah, but he was not an
Purdy
issue.
ran around for a lot in that play. Yeah.
I mean, I was really good with Austin Pleasance playing instead of Trent Williams. I think he did.
Is there
phenomenal.
any unknown guy that we need to name on the defense? I feel like I don't really feel that enthusiastic about the defense right now.
Yes, there is a most known unknown on defense. Tatum Bethune.
Okay.
This defense is different without him.
That's
Say
true.
what you want, but they have no teeth without him. They don't have anybody finishing off runs. They don't have anybody getting into the backfield. They don't have anybody. Tatum Bethune is the guy that changes up the play with Robert Saleh sending a blitz to send more linebackers, and Tatum Bethune says, no, we're staying back to play defense. He's finding his way. This is a guy that started off when he first came on. Fred going down was big, and rightfully so. But I distinctly remember his disposition when he got the nod to play. And he was letting everybody know that we were tripping. I do this. You guys need to calm down. I've been in this situation a lot of times, and you guys are going to see. And I don't want us to forget that. I don't want us to forget how this guy may not be Fred Warner, but he made good on his word. All right? And one thing I'll tell you right now is that this is his defense right now. This isn't Diamador Lenoir's defense. This ain't Malik Mustafa or Jair Brown's defense. This is Tatum Bethune's defense. And I love how he's leading these guys. I love how he's fighting through injury. He got hurt in this game and had to come back. I'm telling you, Tatum Bethune, he needs to be respected. And I don't want to disrespect D. Winters, but Tatum Bethune is playing at a level that if Fred Warner was still healthy, people would be saying that Tatum Bethune and Fred need to be on the field together. People would be saying that.
I would agree. Johnny Hill says Trevon Diggs just got released. The Niners need him. And then Tyler Barden says Cowboys just released Trevon Diggs. Okay, let's talk about that. Trevon Diggs, 27-year-old cornerback. Just a few years ago, he had 11 interceptions in one season. He's Stephon Diggs' brother. He just signed a huge contract with the Cowboys a couple years ago, and now he's a free agent. Remember, Robert Saleh and the Niners have had some success bringing in over-the-hill cast-offs at cornerback. I'm thinking Richard Sherman was 30. Jason Verrett was older. Josh Norman. They've done this before. Should they try it? And I know for a fact from my conversations with Robert Saleh the first time he was around as Niners defensive coordinator that he likes Trevon Diggs, or at least 5 years ago he did. What do you think?
Big. I mean, he tore his ACL in week 3 in 2023. Like you already mentioned, the deal that the Cowboys gave him was astronomical. 5-year extension for $97 million with $33 million guaranteed. My biggest issue is that this is a corner that is overpaid, getting let go from a bad defense. The Cowboys defense isn't that good. And to be able to take him off the heap, and it seems like they're just kind of cutting their losses with him. I would wait to see if he clears waivers before I would even work him out or bring him in. But right now, I just don't think there's anything that he can necessarily add. Ronaldo Green is on his way back. I feel much better with Darrell Luter Jr. and Chase Lucas playing rather than bringing in somebody who's automatically going to have to start once we bring him on. I'd pass on that. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, it seems like the Niners actually are committed to their young cornerbacks. They like Ronaldo Green. They like Upton Stout. They love Upton Stout. And they paid Diamador Lenoir. So bringing in Trevon Diggs would sort of push one of those three out. And it's not going to be Lenoir. It's not going to be Stout. It would be Ronaldo Green. And I don't think the Niners feel like they need to replace Ronaldo Green at this point. And to your point, his backup, Darrell Luter Jr., has been good as well. So I'm thinking that's a no, although you never know. Maybe if they can get him for like a flyer and shut him down for the rest of the season, bring him in for next year. And it's kind of what they did with Jason Verrett, maybe. That would be the only way. I want to ask something else. Diamondo Lenoir said something interesting after the game. Like he's excitable. And they had just won, and he likes talking smack, and he wants to smoke and all those great things. He's confident. What you want a cornerback to be. He was great. I was there at his locker, and the question was, what do you think of the upcoming matchup with the Seahawks? How excited are you to face Seattle? And he just launched into it. I want to play man-to-man. I want to shout out Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm ready for this. I want to go one-on-one. I want this. Okay. Do you think Robert Saleh will let him do this? Do you think this will be a man-to-man, one-on-one, Lenoir, wherever JSN goes, your best against our best, bring it on? Or do you think Robert Saleh is going to continue to play cover 3, cover 4 with Lenoir on the boundary doing a bunch of nothing?
No. You know who won that game, that big-time game versus Seattle? What was that, Monday night? Who'd they play? They played some big-time game. They scored at the end. You know who scored that? Eric Saubert is who scored that touchdown to end the game. It wasn't Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba, his last game that he played, he had 8 targets for 7 catches for less than 80 yards. This is not the Diamondo Lenoir versus Jackson Smith and Jigba show. That's not the game that we're playing here. And I don't want the entire we're not good enough to take our best defender in the secondary and literally put him on one guy. That's too easy for the offense, right? If I'm Clint Kubiak, the only thing that I'm doing is just taking Smith and Jigba and putting him away from the strength. I'm putting him away from where I don't want the ball to be at, right? So being able to completely be that heavy-handed in your process of like, hey, this is what we're doing, I'm not for that. Now, does that mean that on Gotta Have It downs, if we maybe all of a sudden see Demo on JSN, right, in situational purposes? Yeah, I'm with that, right? If we know, hey, we have to have our best guy on him in this situation, I'm fine with that. But just it's not what we've done all year, and changing something up that drastic at this stage of the season, I just think that would be a little foolhardy.
And it feels a little like panicky. Like, why do you have to change what you do when you think you're better than the Seahawks?
It's a little too much.
But the thing is, like, the idea to me is sound in the sense that, yeah, I would play man-to-man coverage against the Seahawks because you're not worried about Cooper Kupp. You're not worried about A.J. Barner or any of their running backs. Like, it's just JSN. They're a one-man offense, or a one-man passing game. So, yeah, I would play man-to-man coverage. I don't want to give JSN free releases into the secondary. And if you're going to play man-to-man coverage, I would want the best cornerback on him. My question is Lenoir still the best cornerback on the team? Like, is Lenoir having a good season? It's hard to tell because a lot of the game he doesn't do much, but his numbers aren't good. I mean, a lot of times those PFF coverage numbers are bogus, but he hasn't made many plays. Is he a better option against JSN than Upton Stout? Is he a better option against JSN than Ronaldo Green? I don't really know right now. What do you think? Is it a fair question?
It's very fair.
Yeah. I mean, I love that he's confident he wants the matchup, but like,
I know what you say, and I'm trying to say this in like the most non-coach way, that I can, but. This is just what Demo do, bro. He loves to talk. He loves to put himself out there. I think he's one of those guys that gains confidence through doing stuff like this. It's par for the course, quite honestly. I could see if Demo wasn't a talker. I could see if we rarely heard from him and he came out and said this. I think that this would actually make headlines. People would really be talking about it.
He did this before the Super Bowl. Remember?
He did.
Like, I want to be in the slot. And Wilkes didn't put him there. And they lost.
Yes. And he acted like it was his fault. Like it was their fault for not putting him there.
Yeah.
I mean, Debo ain't good enough, man. Like you ain't, bruh, you are not that consistent to be having this type of like conversation with people, bro. Like you go do something first. Okay, before we sit here talking about who you want to cover for the whole game. And he forces me to do this because you want to be nice with the guys because they're playing. But Demo has like this really big sense of self. Really big sense of self. And I get it, but my man, you can't be giving up touchdowns on routine plays talking about you want to blanket somebody the whole game. I'm sorry,
but
you can't do that.
I like it because he's putting the pressure on Robert Saleh. It's like, hey, man, I know you have a game plan and stuff you want to do and you believe in Upton Stout, but if that shit doesn't work, I'm ready. I'm ready. It doesn't have to be plan A, but I want to do it. And as a coordinator, at least I'd like to hear that my number one corner is relishing the opportunity to do that. And remember, Steve Wilkes did ask Charvarius Ward to shadow receivers for like half a season, and it worked. And Charvarius Ward rose to the occasion. It doesn't mean that Lenoir would, but it's an option. And I think it's an interesting option in this week. It may not be option one.
I'm sorry. I had to get this out. I was really trying. Look, the optics is what kills me, Grant. It ain't about what he's saying. It's about what he's doing. If this was really serious, if this was something that you really felt the need to do, why the fuck are you bringing this up in the interview?
Yeah.
You got my number.
Sure.
You know where I'm at.
You could just call Robert Saleh.
You could just call me.
It's not going to happen.
You can sit it. Come on, man.
You want to do it when it.
Come on, man. You playing in my face, bruh. You playing in my face. That's like me talking to you, like, man, I sure am hungry, man. You know, I sure could use some food. And you sitting there eating, and it's like, bro, are you hungry? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, come on, man. Like, that's all he's doing. He playing games, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when Demo comes out and says things publicly about football, it's wild to me because it's just like dudes who argue online, but they know each other in real life. It's like, man, could you call him and spare us all the time?
When he says after the game, I want to shout out JSN, what that means is he's not going to shout out JSN.
That means it's not happening.
For the record, when you see me not shadowing JSN next week, just know that I wanted to and I got overruled. All right, well, we'll see.
Come on, man. Exactly. That's all that is. And like, really, he's really pouting. Right. And he's taking advantage of the moment, which is really wild because do you think he would have said that if we had lost?
No.
Hell no, he wouldn't have said that if we
And they didn't win because of him. Again, I like Lenoir, but yeah. Vidica Ray says, do you think there's a chance Patrick Willis comes back? Dude, no. No,
stop.
He's got gray hair. His
thank you for the 199.
I love that. SSP says over under Purdy gets 5 TDs rest of the way. Ooh, interesting. He didn't have many touchdown passes in the playoffs last time. I'm gonna say over, man. I think he's over. Improved. Mm-hmm. Kenny says, man, F Jalen Hurts. Coach, this season, the actually feels like a team. No divas, no BS, just complete utilization of everyone. And oh yeah, no Moody.
Yeah, that's what I said yesterday. I was talking about like the
really
teams.
Argue that the 2024 49ers on paper were more talented than the 2025 49ers. Yeah, Christian wasn't around last year, but Warner was, Bosa was, Kittle was. I mean, Debo was there. Like, it just was way worse than some of their parts. And this year, they're a team.
I think if this 2025 team played the 2024 team, this team would whoop that team's ass.
Yeah. With an inferior roster, I guess.
Yeah, this team, 2024, wouldn't even, if they got down by 2 scores, the game's over. They're not fighting to come back.
And even if they had a lead, they could give it up. Tyler Barden says, is this the best O-line the Niners have had under Kyle Shanahan? Thinking better pass pro than previous years. Also, the run blocking seems to have improved so much since Burford went to left guard. So, seems like it.
Yeah, I like the early on offensive line with Staley, McGlinchey, Lankin, Richburg. School.
Yeah.
No, that was a
person.
I love that line. Person.
Cayman Island podcast is a bit forward thinking, but based on what the Niners have done thus far, if we fall short, do you see a willingness for the front office to go all in next year, i.e. Jefferson or Crosby? I wouldn't be surprised if they, I think Lynch would want to. I think Kyle would want to. That's sort of in their DNA. I don't know if Jed will allow them to, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like this season could go a long way to getting goodwill with the bean counters again. Like you slashed our budget. We coached the hell out of this. He's the coach of the year. Like, trust us again.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
with the 49ers' success this year and all of the shifting around in the building with responsibilities, Parag being inserted back into like the day-to-day stuff, who gets credit for this 12-4 team right now? Who's crowing in the building right now? Is this Kyle saying to Parag in the building, "Hey man, see what happens when you just get out of my way"? Or is this Parag in the building saying, "See what you do, what you can do when we take over and you just focus on your job"?
I think it's that. I think it's
yes. See what you can do when all you have to do is coach. I think there's a lot of that. I think that's the conversation happening in the building right now.
That's a very good call. All right, before we move on to the rest of these super chats, I want to revisit the trade deadline. You and I and a lot of content creators had like a big argument at the trade deadline. Should they make a move? And you were on team no. I was on team yes. Given how this season has played out, do you still feel the same way? Because they have the worst pass rush in the league.
Yes,
the worst.
I feel exactly the same way. I love it. The thing that's awesome about this 12-4 season that we're having right now is that no matter what happens at the end of this season, guess what we have? We have an off season. We have real picks. We got a full draft in front of us. All right. We've actually stand pat. We don't have any other big bloviated contracts that just got put on here by getting a Hendrickson or picking up another retread guy. And we can actually go get a pass rusher in the draft, or dare I say, look at the real free agency once the season is over, and then we can forecast exactly what these guys are worth so we don't get hosed. If you buy a guy mid-season, you're going to have to overpay for him anyway. I like where we are right now. The fact that we didn't mortgage our future and go get pieces at the trade deadline, and we're still 12-4 with our own destiny, on top of the fact that once all of this is over, we don't have anything that we did during the season. Our money is still there. Our picks are still there. And we still have a free agency where we can go get guys for the incoming year. I love it. I think I kind of think I'm right.
Fair. I mean, we'll see how the season ends up. To me, it just feels like, in hindsight, this was the year to go for it. And I think they thought that this was going to be some transition year and that next year would be the year to go for it. But, I mean, they had a good record at the trade deadline. Their starters were coming back. And it's not that, like, obviously when Bosa goes down, you're not going to have a dominant pass rush. But you have the worst pass rush in the league. And I was looking it up. You don't necessarily – like, teams have won Super Bowls without great pass rushes. In 2006, the Colts won a Super Bowl with a defense that had 25 sacks in the regular season. That's not good. And they had Peyton Manning, and they won with offense. The Niners have 18 sacks, dude. If they just had a pass rush that sucked but wasn't abysmal, I'd feel better about them. And I think they could have traded a fifth for Draymond Jones, who's playing pretty well for the Ravens. They could have, a fifth. And they held pat at they stood pat at Keon White, who was a solid addition. I think it's too bad to me that they couldn't just do one more mid addition. It didn't have to be Quinn Williams, but if they had
do a mid addition though, Grant,
or Draymond Jones, you figure like, all right, man, it's a serviceable pass rush, and with this offense and Tatum Bethune running the run defense, they might be the most complete team in the league, because that's really their one weakness is the pass rush.
I think they did. I think they did a lot of additions right there. I think we're forgetting about, Keon White in the vacuum of what did they do at the trade deadline. But they also brought on Cleveland Farrell and Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff was the first domino to drop that came in from the edge. So I think that they did bring in guys in. What were we talking about as soon as he got inserted into the lineup is the emergence of Cleveland Farrell. So, we got McDonald's at home. It ain't going to look good all the time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get home and
had a sack since Cleveland. Huff hasn't had a sack since the Falcons game. And I don't think that any of them are necessarily underperforming. I mean, it's Cleveland Farrell. It's Bryce
what
Huff.
it is.
Bryce Huff most of the time has 3 or 4 sacks in the season. He's got 4 right now. That's kind of what he does. Okay. Yeah. Again, if they had Nick Bosa, this would be a great pass rush. I mean, everyone would be in their spot as a complimentary rusher. And I know you couldn't go get Trey Hendrickson at the deadline. But
would
there's
it though,
times
Grant?
to go for it, and there are times not to go for it. And I feel like the way this season has played out, this 5-game winning streak is a 6-game winning streak. This would have been a hell of a year to go for it. And if they lose, because if they lose in the playoffs because someone like Sam Darnold carves them up because he was just standing there, I don't know. It feels like a missed opportunity to me. to me.
Yeah.
Like this team
I
absolutely could
understand.
win a Super Bowl this year. Even with this shitty pass rush, even with this awful fucking pass rush, this team could win the Super Bowl. And that's kind of incredible to me. That's how mid this league is.
Dude,
Dude,
don't get me started.
it's
I'm so
super
focused
mid.
on being a Niners fan, but if you really want to, you really want me to piss in your cornflakes, we ain't really seeing much. The whole league is down.
I mean,
It's bad.
right after the trade deadline, they played the Rams. They got smoked, and the narrative was, "See, this is why it wasn't worth it because the Rams are just far and away better." Man, that was like 3 years ago. The league has changed. They kind
Yeah.
of suck now. They
Everybody's
kind of
mid.
suck now.
Yeah, even like the names are all not doing well. Like all of the names of like the quarterbacks, they're all down. Pat's out. Lamar is Lamar. We already saw what Josh Allen did. He's having barn burners with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
The
Trying to
team
get
that's
things
peaking
done.
in the NFC is the Niners.
The
That's
Niners.
who's peaking.
We're
What team is
peaking.
better than in the NFC than the Niners right now? Maybe the Seahawks. I guess we'll
Maybe
see.
the
on Saturday.
Seahawks.
Maybe.
That's it. Before last night, I would have easily said the Rams and the Seahawks. But
Yep.
now with the Rams playing like this,
No.
I don't. And then we bumped off Chicago. I'm not a believer in Green Bay or any of those guys. You know, the NFC South is a train wreck. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we
really
think
not a lot of
Chicago
teams.
looks like a team that's going to be really dangerous next year.
Next,
Once they
there
get
you
defense.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the year for, and as far as pedigree is concerned, it's pretty much us and the Eagles.
Yeah. Eagles would be an interesting matchup just because their defense is super legit and the Niners aren't going to score 40 on them. I don't think.
I
don't
just
think.
want Jalen Hurts to get exposed. I think Jalen Hurts is so mid.
But you know who wouldn't expose them? The Niners.
The
Because
Niners.
the pass rush doesn't exist and he'd just be standing there
He
for
would just
8
be
seconds.
standing there baking cakes.
He'd be doing the
I
Jimmy
don't
Garoppolo.
know. It's a mid-year, Grant. This year feels like the year. This year feels like 2023 when we went to the Super Bowl, and that was a mid-year. The Chiefs weren't even that good that year.
All right. Look, before we preview this Seahawks game, which we will, it is now Prize Picks hour. Prize Picks time.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. And this is our foray into Niners Seahawks prognostication. Let's start with the quarterbacks as always. Let's start with the opposing quarterback, Sam Darnold, the quarterback that no one really believes in. The quarterback who, did you know he leads the league in turnovers? Did you know that?
Desi?
Oh, yes, with the fumbles. But I'm not surprised. I mean, his name is Sam Darnold. People only change so much. 239.5 passing yards, more or less. He went for a whopping 147 against Carolina, and then he went for 270 against the Rams, who suck.
More.
I mean, he's not going to be pressured. I kind of agree. Brock Purdy, 242.5 passing yards while playing most likely without Trent Williams, but I think he'll probably have a hobble George Kittle back. What do you think? 242.5, more or less. Hold on. Before you say, I'm going to tell you what he
Okay.
did last time against the
Tell me.
Seahawks. Week 1 with turf toe. He threw for 3-0. Nope. Hold on. Wait a second. Tripping. Week 1. Where are you? There you are. How many did you throw for? Brock Purdy. 277 week 1. 242 is the line in this one.
More.
or less. I was very sober. Christian McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey, 67.5 rushing yards, more or less.
More.
Just he had 69 week 1. He had a lot of. It's true. He's going to get a lot of carries. I'm with that. How about Brock
He's gonna
Purdy?
get more.
13.5 rushing yards.
More.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In order to beat the Seahawks, the trend of what I'm saying, in order to beat the Seahawks, we got to bring our offense.
Jackson
gotta bring
Smith
our
and Jigma
offense.
1-on-1 against Lenoir. 102.5 receiving yards. What do you think? More or less?
Less.
Okay. I think I know who you're picking to win this game. Cooper Kupp. No, I'm just kidding. Gives a damn about Cooper Kupp. George, 63.5 for a guy with an ankle injury. What do you think? More or
More.
less. Well, you heard it here. These are the only one getting faded is JSN. I'm thinking you think, and I think that the Niners are going to win this game. We'll find out in a second. First, we're flexing the play. We're submitting the lineup. We're downloading Prize Picks. We're using promo code COHN. We're playing $5. We're getting $50 instantly in lineups when we use that promo code, because that's what Prize Picks is all about. All right, Seahawks game.
Yep.
Seahawks game for the number 1 seed. What
Let's
do you
do it.
expect to happen in this game? What are the keys to this matchup to you? Who's going to win and why?
I think the Niners are going to win. And I think we're going to win because of what we're going to do on offense. I don't think it has a lot of what we're going to do is on defense. I don't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with defense, but offensively, I think that we're going to take the air out of the football. I think that we're going to use Brock Purdy on the ground. I think that George Kittle is going to get used early and often. And I also believe that we're going to see a tandem in the backfield with B-Rob and Christian McCaffrey. There's a lot of things that, as this is what's beautiful about the 12 wins, about the season, quite honestly, is that we really haven't seen the final form of this offense. One thing that Kyle Shanahan gets away with, and we love it, is that he seems to always have honeymoons with quarterbacks, right? And when he gets his honeymoon with the quarterback, one thing that's happening from the outside looking in is that the reason why the success is happening is that because people don't understand how Kyle is going to use his new toy, i.e. his new quarterback, right? And what happens is that it lasts for maybe the rest of the season, maybe 8 to 10 games. And then there's a wrinkle that goes against that process. And then Kyle has to, we've seen this years, Kyle has to readjust and find somebody else and blah, blah, blah. I think that Kyle is in his second honeymoon with Brock Purdy. I think that Brock being hurt and having to sit down. Vow? Yes, I think they renewed their vows. And one reason why is because of Mac, right?
Kyle had this little
Mac was the side piece that brought them together. Yeah. All right.
They realized,
love too, baby.
You have a spark.
Yeah. Like I had to go out here and go find this other thing. You know what I'm saying?
I had to go out here business with Mac, and you know what I'm saying? My parents set up this arranged marriage with Trey. I never liked Trey, but I had to go see it through Mac, realize Mac wasn't right, the right one for me.
I just can't quit you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Mac Jones set the tone. I think that Mac Jones set the tone on so many different levels on this offense. Number one is just confidence-wise. I think seeing somebody else wear your shoes the way you want to wear them is a different type of view. And I think that Brock had a chance to sit back and see how Mac Jones does it in a relaxed type of mode. How Mac Jones doesn't necessarily try to take everything the offense gives him. He just takes what the defense is supplying to him. And then on the in-between, Mac turns on his own special playing style. I believe that we're looking at a Brock Purdy that just has a different mental makeup about how he approaches the game. And I believe that Kyle is aware of it. And it's affording Kyle to give Brock more opportunities. I don't know how long this soiree is going to last, right? Just like up and down couples, we could check in on them in a month and they're ready to kill each other. We don't know. But for right now, I believe that Kyle is calling plays in a free state. He's not restricted. We've seen Kyle be restricted with quarterbacks where you could tell that he's playing the game not to lose. He's calling plays to keep you out of harm's way. I don't think that Kyle's doing that. And the only time that I've seen Kyle completely have the offense open with Brock is when he was trying to bury him, to try to show everybody that he wasn't as good as he was by making him throw the ball over 40 times. I don't see that. I believe that the Seahawks are going to see a completely different team. And also, their tape, I know that they probably think that their tape is still good from week one because Brock played. That ain't the same Brock. You know what I mean? That's not the same Brock that played in week one. Also, with the run game, we didn't have a run game the first time we saw them. We're actually intentional with the run game. Brian Robinson Jr. is actually going to get inserted into the lineup, and there's more wrinkles to come. Sky Moore should be inserted into the lineup. So for me, I think offensively, we're hot. And I do believe that Kyle is, how can I say this? When Kyle has confidence, the offense sings, man. There's nothing that he won't do. And I'm just telling you, I think that the Seahawks They're going to be trying to face us thinking that we're going to lead with Christian McCaffrey, but we're finally seeing. Let me put it like this: what were Christian McCaffrey's numbers last week? He had like 100 at the half rushing. No? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. He had 100 at the half rushing. For me, I think that we'll be able to see that replicated again next week. So that's how I feel this Saturday. I got the Niners winning, and I think it's going to be by the offense.
I have the Niners winning too, but I'm not really sure why. Let me try to go through my thought process here. It's tough for me to get to the Niners winning, but I do have them winning. It's like one team has a defense, the other doesn't. The Seahawks have a really good defense. They shut down Christian McCaffrey the first week. Maybe they won't this week, but maybe they will. I mean, their defense gave up 17 points week one. Their defense doesn't really the Rams did pretty well against them a few weeks ago, but ultimately they don't give up many points. They don't give up many rushing yards. They do have a pass rush. They have good corners. They're loaded on all three levels. So Brock's going to be playing without Trent Williams against a good defense. That's tough. The last time he faced him, he didn't do that great. Maybe he's a lot better now. Maybe. Darnold is going to be going against a bad defense with no pass rush. So while he does lead the league in turnovers, he's going to be standing still. He has a good arm. He has an excellent wide receiver. In that sense, I could see the Seahawks winning. I just can't get over Darnold. It just all comes down to Darnold. Darnold leads the league in turnovers. Darnold didn't play well last week against the Panthers. I don't have any confidence in Darnold. I don't think the Seahawks have any confidence in Darnold. I don't think Darnold has any confidence in Darnold. He did this last year. He had a good season. He had almost the exact same season last year. He was balling. He was winning. He fell apart down the stretch. And I think we all expect it to happen again. If the Niners find a way to lose to Sam Darnold, it'll be humiliating. And what's interesting is that Brock has had games like Sam Darnold. Brock played like Darnold 4 weeks ago against Carolina. It's not like Darnold's the only guy who can turn into a pumpkin for a night. But if I had to pick one quarterback to do it on Saturday night, it would be Darnold because of how he's been playing and his whole history. So that's the main reason I'm picking the Niners, is just the Darnold factor, leading the league in turnovers.
Also, I mean, if we just want to go at this defense, Niners had 8 pass catchers in this game that we just played, and that's been a trend. We are sharing the ball. A lot of guys are getting time on task with the offense. If you go back and look at the Tennessee Titans in the Seahawks game, I think that was about like 4 to 5 weeks ago. They beat the Titans, but the Titans put up 24 points on them. And if you go back and you look at the numbers of what the Titans were doing on offense, they almost had 10 different guys catch passes and be contributors in the pass game against this offense. If you go and look at Seattle's offense, Jackson Smith-Njigba is the leading receiver with 8 receptions for 167 yards. The next closest receiver is Kenneth Walker III. He's got 3 receptions for 30 yards. All right, that's the next closest guy. So for me, offensively, the Seahawks are a little one-dimensional. If Jackson Smith-Njigba is not there, right, what else are they going to do? All right, I know that they just traded for their guy out of New Orleans, but he's not necessarily turning things on either. For me, I just think that we know them. And then the coaching standpoint, I think we talked about this right before the show started. Bro, if I'm Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh, we ain't scared of McDonald and Kubiak, man. Like, we know these dudes, especially Clint Kubiak. So, I'm ready for the ball to roll out. We play Saturday, right?
They play Saturday, correct. Torres says Tatum Bethune switched Saleh's defense call. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's not exactly what he said. I want to hear what he says this week in the locker room, and I want to hear what Kyle and Saleh say about that. Vin Wynn says Jair Brown should be benched or play linebacker. They need speed, safety back there. That ain't getting torched every deep pass. Problem is, Pinnock was getting torched to safety. Siegel was getting torched to safety. There doesn't seem to be a right answer there. So I don't know. Maybe Stefan. Maybe give Siegel another chance. At least he's fast. Stefan says saw someone at the grocery store with a Rams jersey today. Never seen that before. Pringle Man, $5. Thank you. Ryan Close says we need Justin Simmons. Our safeties got cooked. Well, the trade deadline passed. RKS later says I support Papa Cohn. Mac Jones rubbed off on Purdy. And what part of the pass rush is weakest link? They got 16 pressures on Caleb. What's the holdup? 16 pressures and no sacks. Steven Draper says Chase Young would have been nice. Owen Kane says Cowboys release Diggs, should the Niners get him? How about no? What do you think about CMC in the slot with B-Rob and James in the backfield to get CMC to 1K? As long as we're leading, also Beard looks great. Ooh, thank you, Pringle Man.
When's the last time you seen Jordan James?
I like the 2 tailback formations. I think they should try that a little bit more. They haven't really done that.
You heard me?
Be interesting. What?
When's the last time you seen Jordan James?
In person? I see him at practice.
Yeah.
He was active for the last game.
He was active, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to play him? Is this the best? Yo, if for some reason all of a sudden Jordan James starts getting crazy carries in the playoffs, this is the biggest slow play that we have ever seen for a rookie, bro.
I wouldn't expect that. Amari Hanna says if Brock finishes the season strong and in every playoff game, it's clear that Purdy wasn't the reason for the loss. Could that gain truth faith? Yes. I'm not sure what that means, but yes. It's Quan says, what's up, Grant? I just want to say that thank you, Kyle Shanahan, for finally being unpredictable and Brock for giving me hope because previously I have been skeptical of your play, but now it's time, baby. Keep going. No Chiefs. Mrs. Domestic says, one of the things I think held Kyle back the last 2 years was that he had trash DCs and he was having to worry about coaching defense and offense. Possible. Josh Wyatt says next year the schedule will be harder. Packers, Bears, even the Cowboys will be better. CMC will be 30. All of the cornerstone players will be older. Then he says they're wasting another year of prime use check. That was good. You set me up with that one. Joseph Emery says, love you guys. And the show's 38-12 Seahawks. Oh, 38-12. Okay. Alex Thompson says Trevon Diggs was just waived. Yep. Jeff Patton says the emergence of this best Brock Purdy we have seen is why you have seen CMC break out these last 2 weeks. They have to really worry about Brock. That's possible. That is possible. Sign. Who's that? I'm not
Haywood.
saying it. I'm not saying it.
Why did you? I wasn't reading it.
You say it.
Nah,
all right, man, it's 11:20. I got to get down and interview Kyle Shanahan, see if George Kittle's healthy, see if Trent Williams healthy. This has been an episode, one of the best episodes of the coaches meeting. That's the coach from the coaches huddle. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He does live watch parties during games that are lit. Hella people watch
Pretty
them.
lit.
Make sure you watch them. And coach, great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Good to do the show, bro.
See you guys.